We're too old to be having bad sex.
It would be so funny coming from her.
I know.
And it will, by the way. We shall shake things up a bit, shake shit up. Yeah.
Yes.
Hi guys, welcome to the Unpopular Opinion. I'm Kelly.
Prim,
And we're real.
we are raw.
And
we're saying it all.
So this week's episode, well, the first things first is that we have a very special guest who you may have seen in past episodes if you've been with us for a while. Sharifa, welcome.
Thank you.
Sharifa is a couple of things. She's a therapist, but I'll also let her tell you a little bit about who she is and what she does. But today's episode is a fun one, but it's also going to get deep. You know, you're going to have fun, but it's going to get deep. It's going to be those ones.
Are we going to live here while crying
Or laughing.
Or laughing?
Or both.
Or are we going to be
I can do both.
But you know, guy, you know.
Like a baby on Instagram.
Let's go.
So it's going to be, we're going to see where this takes us. But there's been like this fun little trend going around of I'm too old for this shit. It comes from some old Danny Glover series. To be honest, even me, I'm too young to know it very well. But yeah, we're going to talk about some of the stuff that we feel, man, as in, okay, at this tender age of 30-somethings, we're too old for some things, right? So we're going to start off on like a high, spicy note. We are too old to be having badass sex. Like, listen.
High five.
Bakules.
Are you having your mirror?
We have brought you.
Yes. I like the energy.
I want to just come to you straight. We'll talk about the issue of just orgasms and how unfortunately rare the female orgasm is.
Yes.
Take it away.
Girl,
Take it.
the gap. I read there is research
Uh-huh.
that 95% of the men get orgasms easily.
Must be nice.
Right?
It must be nice.
Why do you think we are there excelling in boardrooms?
Sexually, you have to be excelling in boardrooms and sports and other activities.
Okay, so I'm talking about the gap. And women, 35% to 60% get orgasms. Okay? So you can imagine. And when we talk about orgasms,
Yeah.
what I think of first is how many of us fake them. Please allow me to ask
And
you
how
if you've
often?
faked. Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Why?
I feel like, as a bit young as well,
Yeah.
there was a feeling of, I don't want him to feel fake.
I know.
You know.
I felt sorry for
This
him.
is how we carry everyone's feelings. Nightingale, Primrose, and Nightingale, Florida. Like generally,
Yeah.
Nightingale, Fiona. Like we're just always there trying to save people.
So you also faked it because you wanted him to feel.
For me, just so that we can finish. But there are those people who, even after faking it, they think that now it's too good for you. They continue,
Right?
and they're just like, "What did I get myself in?"
Yeah, and he
Hint.
wants to give you like a second orgasm. Like, let me even give her a
It feels
third
like,
orgasm.
Yes. Oh my God,
Okay.
they're suffering.
See, that's why I don't want to fake them. For me, I want it, like I want good sex, period. I will
Yes.
not fake it. If I'm not getting an orgasm, you're going to have a problem. Yeah, so I was just telling Prim at the beginning,
Yeah.
actually with you as well, that there are men who fake it.
Do you know, I didn't know that until
Same.
I was 2 years old.
Now.
When Sharifa said it before we started the
Now,
episode,
years
I was
old.
like, what?
Yes, and I've tried to do some little research with some females in my phone, starting with my husband. I woke him up in the morning and I'm like, hey, have you ever faked an orgasm? And he's like, please let me sleep. Just tell me, have you ever faked an orgasm? And he's like, of course I've faked an orgasm. With me or with your exes? He's like, my exes. Right? I'm like,
He's like, I'm not entering that.
Yes.
yeah. So I asked a few men in my WhatsApp and I'm like, hey, tell me, have you ever faked an orgasm? And the guy's like, yeah. And I'm like, why? And he went like, I was tired. And the other guy told me the chick smelled really bad. I wanted it to end immediately. So just like women fake orgasms, men also do fake orgasms. So I didn't want to speak on things I didn't know. I had to ask the men.
So I want to understand. So when they fake it, what comes out? Dust?
Oh, you don't?
Like, because we are supposed
They
to
sure
feel
you don't
something
see.
come.
Make
do they
sure
just-
you don't see.
So they just pretend like, oh,
Yeah,
Hurry
they're
up
done.
and
They
done,
wipe
shower.
quickly. Exactly. And if they're using rubber, it's even easier.
Ah, yeah.
Exactly. So
of course.
Yeah, How about when someone has also has had sex like twice that day, and then they come home and they also want some?
There we go.
Yeah, it's also a reason. Yeah.
Yeah, you see? So sometimes they just want and they rush. I read some techniques that men use. They're like, oh my God, I'm done. And then they rush the bathroom. Or they wipe with a shirt. Or they wipe with a boxer. They wipe with nothing. So yes, men do fake orgasms as well. And also some don't want us to feel bad. Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
There's a feeling of like, no time.
Yeah, you know how society has made it seem like good sex, you must have an orgasm, right? So if exactly.
So for people who are withdrawing, then what happens? Air? Because you see, most times when someone is like the whole pull-out game or whatever, they put it like on your stomach or on your back, depending on the position, or
so if you
like in a cloth somewhere, towel. People now know.
It has never happened to you where a man comes and you actually don't know if they've come or not, but they're like, I've come. Exactly. They're like, but I've come.
You don't always see it.
Yeah.
We're just like, yeah.
You don't always see
it happens. Yeah, it happens.
So if you think about it, those times that you've not seen, someone could have affected
you.
you.
They've done it, yeah.
Let's not overthink it, guys.
But anyway,
Let's not overthink it. Let's not overthink it.
But I think as we talk about just like that we're too old to have bad sex.
Right.
I mean, as a professional, and so Sharifa is a therapist and a sex. What should we say? Sex therapist,
yes,
sex counselor,
sex therapist.
Sex therapist.
Right.
So you know a whole lot, and you've also like from shared experiences and so on. Like what are the things that are actually causing people to have bad sex? As we're saying we're too old to have bad sex, what are the things we are doing to cause these problems of bad sex?
Honestly,
to cause these problems of bad sex.
It is a problem,
it's
right?
fundamental.
It is a problem. Let me tell you, I have come to realize that even women do not know the anatomy. They don't know their anatomy.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
It took me a very anyway, continue.
Exactly. So sometimes when I'm having these lessons or classes, I'll ask the ladies, can you show me your labia minora or your labia majora, or show me your vulva, or show me your vagina? And she'll point, at the outer part as the vagina. And they're like, no, that's your vulva. She's like, really? So where is my vagina? They don't even know their anatomy. Yeah. So for me, I feel like that is where most of the problems come from. If I don't know myself, how am I going to guide the other person to do a good job?
Pleasure,
exactly. So if I want pleasure, I need to first of all understand. Do I get pleasure from my clitoris? Do I get pleasure from my erogenous zones like my nipples or my ears? Do I get pleasure from, I don't know, kissing, my toes? We are different.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I don't know, my partner won't know. My partner will come thinking,
It's how everyone has mastered that boobs work for everyone.
And yet that's not the case.
Right?
By the way, my nipples, you can even take them. You can pull out the nipples and go with them and nothing. Tune that radio, change FM.
Okay, you see that? So
unless it's towards my periods.
Which is different.
Because they're very, that's the only time.
Women's bodies are complex.
So imagine communication would help.
Yeah, you have to communicate that.
So for me, it's awareness. Like, are you aware of your body, of what makes you tick, of what works for you, what doesn't work for you? And if you are, have you communicated that to your partner? And some men also are egoistic. Like you tell a guy, that's not working. In my head, they're thinking, Fiona, who are you? You get it? Yeah. So for me, it's communication. And also understanding your body. Please take a ride alone if you have to. Just figure out what works and what doesn't work. Yes, and it's okay. So that is where most of the problems come from. And also, some things that people don't recognize is some of us have psychological issues and physical issues, right? We are depressed. We are on certain medication that's causing, maybe dryness, vaginal dryness. We have anxiety. Some of us we have relationship problems themselves, because all these things can affect how I show up in the bedroom. I'm not going to be having a bad relationship with you and you think I'm going to be orgasming every day. You get it? Yeah, so it's very important for you to sit down, ask yourself, why am I like this? And the other thing before we switch topic is the first lessons we were taught about sex.
But which lessons and who taught them?
Exactly
nothing lessons.
The sex ed in Uganda is such a shame. Like it's
just bad manners.
Thank you. Sex is bad manners. Let me tell you, most of the people I have met who struggle with sex in the bedroom have told me this. Sharifa, I grew up in a staunch Christian family. Right?
That's true.
Yeah, where sex was a sin. So
people are still embarrassed to tell their parents they are pregnant, yet they are married.
Thank you. Exactly.
Even with your second child and third child, you're just like, oh my God. How are they going to know that I'm having sex?
Yeah.
So you see, that is a very big problem. And people might look at it as, no, it's nothing, but this is a psychological thing.
Yeah.
It stays with you for life. There's someone who told me, for me growing up, sex has always been a sin.
Do you think that also like comes into why we are uncomfortable with nudity?
Yes.
Like, do you know how you can, even if it's just you and who, and there's so much discomfort with our own body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How they.
Because growing up, you are not allowed to be that free with your body, to be that free with yourself. So when I have sex therapy sessions with people, I usually ask them, what were you taught about sex growing up? And you will hear all sorts of things. Sex is a sin. If you have sex, you're going to hell. If you have sex, or the one on a fool, like there's so everyone had a different.
You're shamed for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And especially enjoying it is the problem. At least, if you're to have it in a stiff manner.
And be ashamed.
Be ashamed. You have it in the dark.
Right.
There it will at least sort of absorb
you. Yeah. Right.
But now, when you enjoy it, it means you're a slut.
Right.
You're a
And
slut.
for women,
Yeah.
Yes.
should you dare to enjoy it?
Like we're not allowed to.
Right?
And you see, this is, our singers, the toxic singers have taught us that in the bedroom, it is our duty to please,
Yeah.
right? So no one is out there telling the man, hey, the woman is also supposed to be pleased. Do you get?
Yeah.
So we get into marriage. If you're lucky to get a singer even who has some knowledge, she'll tell you, you prepare the man like this, but that is all I've been taught.
Yeah.
So if I don't orgasm, maybe it's okay.
It's like your needs are secondary.
Yeah. Do they even exist? They're non-existent. Yeah, because where are my needs in the whole lesson thing?
Equation, yeah.
Exactly. They're nowhere. I have to just please the man. Oh, he has come. Okay, now you clean him. Okay, now you do ABCD. Okay, now what about me? So we start to have sex as a chore, like go for somebody more, or something we have to do.
You even budget and plan for it.
Like you
plan for it.
don't enjoy
You
it.
schedule it.
We don't. So bad sex, honestly, talk to your people, talk to your wives, talk to your husbands. Your husband
And
is
actually,
depressed, talk to them.
Sex stops the moment the man orgasms. Not knowing that you could actually continue until
you orgasm
he
as
could do
well.
something about it until you also get
Yeah.
comfortable.
Talk to them.
Or he could make sure that you're sorted first before he continues.
That's another way to do it.
Honey, she's talking about foreplay. How many men do you know out there that take their time before sex? Exactly. Very, very few. Papa. Like you always wonder, Papa Chi.
Yeah,
Like there is, everybody knew. Like there is no time for foreplay. Some men have told me, you women are hard. Maybe one boom, but you go down on her, till you touch her, till you do this.
Anyway, I was going to say something, but then I was like, let me just chill. But women know their
Speak your
bodies.
heart.
Women know their bodies so well. That's why when they're self-pleasuring or pleasuring other women or something, it's what you think is hard is very easy.
That's
You
true.
get
You just haven't made the effort.
you just haven't made the effort. It's
That's
very
true.
easy, yeah.
Okay, so please, men, make effort. Take your time.
And maybe we can also communicate our needs more.
That is very
Sometimes I think we're
important.
shy.
We
Like to communicate
are.
what we like or whatever. Because all of this shame around sex
Right.
growing up.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't know how to
Also-
communicate what we like.
That's
We
true.
have Panyanko women who also are like, we're not going down on you.
Only when you're men, not only.
It's mostly them. You guys are
No.
I've not had. I've not had.
Yes, no,
But
she's not
when we
like
have
that,
this
men.
conversation,
My
the people who are
God.
having this conversation are married to our brothers.
There are many men.
Really.
And anyway,
Yes.
women who are uncomfortable with the whole situation. It's many people actually, they're there. And
Right.
you know, our culture has a lot of shame around sex itself. Then when you bring in
The
like
mouth is
this
for
avocado
eating.
thing, it's like, whoa, what do you mean? What do you? The truth is, there's a lot of stuff to work through there.
The mouth is for eating.
Anyway, so let's talk about stuff that we are too old for as well, especially because we are sitting with a therapist and we cannot, I don't think we can ever talk about it enough, the importance of your mental health. I think we are too old to be saying, oh, it's too, and I don't want this to sound like, because I know it's also a privilege to be able to afford a certain level
Right.
of mental health care. However, just like that laxity of like, no, I can't do that because I don't have the money. Yet you haven't actually researched to see what options you have. There are more options now than there were maybe 10 years ago.
Right.
You know, people are doing it on the phone. There's so many options now, and we're just too old to let it take a back seat.
Yeah.
Of like, no, like may I have more important things to do.
Because what
do
it
you have to go
includes
and do
a
the
lot.
rest of
Right.
your life?
Yeah,
Talk
if it's
about
not
it,
mental
sis.
health. Yeah, well, when you talk about I'm too old for putting my mental health in a backseat, all I can think of is people who stay in toxic marriages. That is all I can think
Preach
of.
it on the mountaintops.
Yes, and I know I have been abused for this, but I will not stop talking about it.
So say it.
Yeah. You guys have normalized toxic relationships. You've normalized staying in toxic
Abuse.
relationships. Yes, abusive
I think people understand
relationships.
abuse as being beaten.
Oh my God,
People
no.
don't understand emotional abuse. And you remember that video you did?
Yes.
The video that I shared
Right.
of
Exactly.
narcissism?
Right. Gaslighting, narcissism,
Gaslighting.
trauma bonding, all of that. Yes. So we always think when we talk about toxic relationships or toxic partners or abuse, we're talking about the physical. But he didn't slap me. You get the parents that I know who would ask their daughters, "Akumenya magumba." Yeah, things like that. Right. But you don't know that your mental health, once it's gone, there is nothing for you to give. Yeah. You cannot raise, you cannot parent your children, you cannot show up as a good partner, you cannot show up anywhere. Yeah, you really can't. So we are too old for that. If you're in a toxic relationship, please do the work. Recognize it for what it really is.
Use the real words.
Yes, use the real words. That guy he's emotionally abusing you.
I feel like
I had a session yesterday with a client, and we were there talking, and I'm like, you know what? I even have to make a video about it. Some of our partners don't like us. They're not our friends.
They hate
They hate us. Yes.
We always talk about it.
It is.
Yeah.
Because honestly, imagine your partner abusing you, like really abusing you, like it's just so ugly. Why do you look like that? Like, how can a partner do that to you? How can he say that to you? And they're telling us.
I will be like, let my wife greet you first.
When they're
giving speeches on functions.
Exactly, calling you out. So for me, I feel like we are too old for staying in places where we shouldn't be staying.
Or for misnaming things. Let us call it for what it is. Let's stop lying. Let's stop saying.
No,
he's just stressed.
Days.
Yes.
He's mean.
Yes.
He's
mean
stressed.
to you.
He doesn't like
cruel.
you.
I like that
He doesn't
Sharifa
like
talks
you.
about toxic women who turn good men into bad people.
Bad people.
Yes.
And that happens.
You guys, it's so. There are so many toxic women, and when they are, the thing is that for us, ours is never domestic violence.
No.
It's not never, but like it's
rare,
less, right?
Subtle.
It's emotional abuse.
Yeah, like
You
manipulation.
guys, manipulation.
It's easier to colonize men.
My
That's
God.
true.
Yes.
Because they don't speak up.
Yes.
No one
Yes.
listens to
Yes.
them. They speak
Also,
up.
no one
If
will
a guy
believe
is
them.
going through a thing, it's easier for us to be like,
Yes.
yeah, that guy.
True.
He was the one who
Yes.
did so many words.
But
I've
no
had
society
two
has
friends,
painted that picture.
two male friends that have told me about like people that they've been in relationships with that are, and oh my God, and I forget how I talked to one, and you could see how haggard he had become, how hollow, how he was just, someone talking to you and they're not even looking at you, they're just like looking into empty space, and they're like, oh yeah, so when I tell them about this and that, they're like, oh, you're just being insecure, and obviously the wokeness around mental health itself, obviously because it's women who are mostly having the conversation on mental health,
true.
we also take advantage of that, and we make these like the men in our lives that we're being toxic to feel like they're the ones who are like you understand what's going on and him he doesn't.
True.
You get like you keep throwing everything back at them. And even like just the manipulation we do. You see how people think that cheating is reserved for men? We cheat. And when we are caught, there's that whole, so I'll never have friends. So I'll never do that. Like you guys, when you find toxic females, it's terrible.
We know them. They live amongst us. And sometimes you also wonder, how does this man survive with this chick?
much.
Like you just look at her and you're like, I would never marry her. Like I don't ever want to be her. Like I know this. We're talking about mental health, but let's normalize therapy for men, I swear to God.
Very much.
And I am so happy these days men call in. Usually I have this joke that I have when a man calls in, the first thing I ask them is your wife right there? Like, am I on speaker? Because I always feel like they can only come if the wife is, initiating it.
Yeah.
And the man would go like, no. I saw your video here, or I saw you on Google, and I really want to come in. And I'm like, my goodness, I wish I could give you a high five right now. Because, and they're starting to adopt it, and it's a really, really good thing. But you can sit there with a man, Prem, Fiona, and you listen to them talk, and you empathize with them.
Yes, you do.
And you feel so bad, and you're like, really?
Yes.
Why won't you leave? And they'll tell you, we have children. what will my parents say?
The same things that we say.
Exactly.
The same things we say.
Exactly. I owe it to
Like
her
when my
to stay.
parents were all together, you see, I grew up in a Christian home.
Thank you.
My dad is a pastor, and like I've seen my parents are still together. They've been married for 30 years.
Oh, honey.
And, you know, I don't know how to do this and that. Or even guys will be like, you know, I used to like cheat and whatnot, then I changed. And I
Like
made
all
this
that.
mistake.
They carry that guilt for the rest of their
Yes,
lives.
so it feels like, oh, they're being punished for
They are.
everything that happened in the past.
are.
Yes.
Yeah, and they'll be always playing the victim card. Oh my
Yeah.
God, 1, 2, 3. If you hadn't cheated on me, I wouldn't have done it. Oh my God, if you
Yeah.
hadn't done what you did, I wouldn't. You created
Yeah.
the monster. Now you have to deal with it.
Yes.
Like I hear these things and I'm like you decided to stay.
Yeah.
So if you decided to stay, forgive already. And if you
Yeah.
won't forgive, move. Like you cannot
Like,
hold
yeah.
this over his head for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So yes, we are too old for putting men in a box. Like men don't have emotions, men don't have feelings. Yeah. So please let's normalize therapy for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you even talked about just like normalizing, not staying in like long-term, toxic things. Because I mean, let's be honest. Even now in this 2023, talking about things like divorce is so delicate.
Taboo. It is taboo.
It's so
We whisper it.
like you shiver even.
I don't know how you guys deal with that in
And you see,
Christianity.
it's one of the things that they use it to rate people's success and failure.
in
Thank
life.
you.
It's an achievement.
And
or
to even rate their just existence as human beings.
Yeah, like
Of,
where do you stand
she
in
has a
society?
failure under her belt, which is the fact that she's, like someone will be on their second marriage or third marriage, and someone is just like, oh, the problem is this one. It is
Exactly.
definitely this person
Yeah,
who has been
exactly.
married twice. But what if
yeah.
the other people that they met didn't, were not good to them, and the third time that they met the third person, or the fourth person, and they're now
the
okay.
better, right?
Yeah, but the whole, you can't be anything of substance in our society unless people judge you and
Regardless.
call you
Constantly.
constantly
They will
on
smile
your
with you,
divorce
and
of
then
you see her, she's a CEO, sure.
Mama.
Her
Please.
marriage.
Her marriage, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the father of her kids. You know that she has a different person. What?
You're actually talking about my life right now.
Yeah.
I'm in my second marriage right now, and I get a lot of that. Like, there's even a person who asked me, "How can you be a counselor? Go for Kulema?" Yeah,
And
people
get to
do.
talk about marriage and family.
Exactly. So how are you there telling us about marriage, yet you
Yeah.
failed at it? So
Yeah.
I do get a lot of that, and I keep telling myself, "Look, I'm a better person now." Like I
But
don't
it could
explain
also be
myself
the
to you.
reason that you managed to walk away.
Exactly, because I'm a better person. I knew I didn't deserve what I was going through then. And for me, like I keep telling you, I don't want to talk about things I have not gone through. So if I am out here talking about divorce, it's because I've gone through it. If I'm talking about growth and healing, it's because I've gone through it. Let me tell you, every time you stay in a toxic relationship with children, and we always, women like to convince themselves they are doing it for the kids, but there is always a fear. So anytime a friend approaches you and they're like, I'm not going to leave because of my children, just ask them, what's your fear? You'll even notice that children are not on the list of the reasons why they're staying. They'll tell you things like, I fear for my life, I fear I don't have finances, I don't have security, what are people going to say? Oh, that one. So I understand that. But let me tell you something. I always ask you, they know, I always ask, what are you going to regret 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Having stayed or having taken a chance, on yourself and your kids out there. And then you'll hear, but all men are the same. They're not. And I'm even tired of saying it. I know. Too old, we're too old to hear it.
Yeah, too old
Right?
to have nonsense. It reduces
Or
men to
something
so
like they
little.
all
Right?
cheat. Yeah, I had a
it's
conversation
so
like that
little.
with my partner recently.
Oh.
Of like, can you believe that people say things like all men cheat, and like it reduces you guys into nothing.
I know.
It's so disrespectful. I was actually telling him that that's not a statement I would ever use
Yeah.
in respect to you. In respect to you. Like as in, even if if let's say God forbid something happened, I would still never judge you based off of that. I would never judge
That's
other men
true.
based off of what you
conscious
did.
something, yeah.
You are
That
the
is
one that I
you,
hold
right.
accountable, yes. But I would never.
I feel like it's a consolation, when you're not ready to leave. And then, of course, it has a lot to do with where you grew up, what you saw growing up, what was modeled for you, childhood traumas and etc. But, we are old enough to take accountability.
Yes.
You get
Right
it?
now, I
Yeah.
feel like there's a certain age that comes, we don't know which number yet, but where you stop blaming
Can you put it at 30?
everything,
Can you put it at 30, please?
everything on other things and
Parents,
parents
yes.
and stuff, and then now it's you.
Please let's put it at 30.
And you now start asking yourself, what is my role in this?
What
Thank
have I
you.
And even if it's
contributed?
your, like, I know that definitely our childhood and growth spills so much into adulthood.
Right.
But now that you know, you get, like, it's, you stop going back to say, me, my parents were like this. No, you go back to see how them doing that shaped you into this person today, and what can you do to be different.
Exactly.
It's like you just keep going back to the past to borrow, to understand. You go to the past and take a peek and say, oh, this is why I behave like this. Okay, I need to heal from this. Okay, I need to. But it stops being, me, I'm like this because, you see, in our home, our father didn't pay attention. Now, even me, I don't pay
I
attention.
turned out like
Yeah,
this.
I remember the time that I just, like, passively, like, opened that conversation about children sharing about their parents who stayed in toxic marriages. Oh my God. Even recently, when I shared, like, a video about, a video from you still about children that grew up in toxic relationships, people told me I'm so triggered. Like, even me, I couldn't go through watching that video. I couldn't go through it because I'm just like, what? Like, someone can actually tell children things like, you see, you're just as stupid as your mother.
Right.
You're just as...
And it's normal.
Yeah, children. You see, even as we tell children, did you see your father bringing food here today? Did you see him buying any food? Yeah, you start. You have your useless father. Your father is useless. Other people's fathers are doing this and that, and then there's you. So...
So, I mean, today we wanted to only touch a couple of things. There's definitely a lot of stuff we're way too old for, but we wanted you to contribute. Let us know, what area you'd like us to touch. Today we want to talk about, like, relationships and mental health, but let us know which areas you'd like us to touch. Maybe we'll invite another guest, you could suggest, and then we'll see you next time. Comment, subscribe. Oh, we're also going to leave Sharifa's link in the description.
She's
so you
really
can reach out to her.
amazing, yeah.
Even her content is really, really helpful. So yeah, you can we always plug you on
the
these
one
wonderful
thing
people we
I
have.
dread is when you put that car, what would you do?
You're like, oh no, it's that time
I'm
of
like,
that
it's
month
that
again.
Yes, it's the time of the week. I always try to post on Fridays
I'm
to
like,
take you through the weekend. You don't like it?
When I not that I don't like it, when I see it, I'm just like,
I just been denied.
by the way, me, there's a time I used to
like,
actually tell her, Sharifa, you're writing these things to yourself. I said,
like, it's
no,
not real.
people are not sick.
I guess
You're writing these things to yourself. She's
You're like, no,
"Really?
it can't happen.
I just, because of confidentiality, I can't show you. But I wish I could show you that. I'm like, even if she had shown me, I would believe that she got her phone
And
I
and
text
then
sent
myself.
sent the things to herself.
Until you put up a Q&A of yourself.
Yeah,
Do you
guys, if you
remember?
don't follow, you.
And I asked yourself, like,
Yes.
do you still think I'm making these stories up? And you're
it
like,
doesn't
oh.
feel real.
Guys,
Like
if you
sometimes
don't
you see them
follow
and you're like, this
Sharifa,
can't
you
be real.
should.
Some of the things I filter. Like, people will ask me, I need to learn that, what you just taught me. And because some of them, I'm like, I'm not posting this. There is no way I'm posting this.
Yeah.
But before you go, can we please be too old to force relationships? Can we stop forcing relationships?
Oh, we have to stop forcing.
No, seriously.
Friendships, relationships
Everything.
of any kind.
Of
yeah.
any
All of
kind. Talking about kubantu.
Yeah.
Yeah, men, women show you in different ways that they don't want
They
you,
don't
they don't
want
like you, they don't even need you.
They don't want
Thank
your love.
you.
I remember when you did that post, oh my God, it hit home. Like, I will start with my feelings.
No.
When she said that people will not want your love, they'll give it back to you, they'll throw it back in your face and reject it. And, oh my God.
They have a right to say no to
They
the love
have a
you
right
give.
to say no,
They do,
yeah.
just like you have a right to say
Yeah.
no to someone's
Exactly.
love. We're like, no, it's just not going to be like that.
And it's okay.
an
But having to
important
accept, you guys, no. As we were closing this episode, but we've not closed it yet.
We did say it might happen.
We did say. Let me tell you one thing that I feel like as adults has been hard for us to sit down with, and that is rejection. Everything comes with the fear of rejection. The fear of rejection, you people, is drives so many of our decisions.
It's dreadful. It is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is.
like most times you realize that we keep going back and going back because it's so actually, I feel like one of my moments of growth has been sitting with myself and saying, you know what, this person has rejected you.
Yes.
And it's not about you. You've not done anything bad. Like, you keep selling yourself to them, showing them why, asking yourself, why don't they like me, doing things over and above, and they still won't like you.
Right?
And like having to sit with rejection and accepting that, you know what, I'm actually not wanted.
Yes.
Like, I'm not siri wa kitalo
No
nga
window.
bwendowooza, siri wa kitalo.
And it happens, I swear. But also, I hope you guys can have an unpopular opinion on attachment styles. It will help people understand why they relate
Could you
the way they
quickly go
do.
through those?
Yes.
We'll do it in another episode. I think because attachment styles are such a broad topic.
They are.
Every time I learn something new, And I feel like I don't want us to touch it in a way of we just
Quite
touch
boy.
it. I want us to enter it nicely.
I've never even like start to go through those ones, but
maybe if we could just share like literally
so that we can read up on them.
Yeah, and these guys can also let us know. Do you want us to do like because I feel like it's a deep thing.
Attachment. Yeah, we can do actually a whole topic on attachment and rejection and
attachment.
Yeah.
It can never be finished in one episode. It is deep. It is deep. But so we are bonded emotionally to the first caregiver who is in our lives from the age of 6 months to at least 2 years. So you can imagine parents who think that but the minute they're 6 months old, they are already bonded to the first caregiver. So if that caregiver is inconsistent, they will become anxious. You know, the mother who comes in and soothes you one time, and then the next time they're not there. Like, oh, Kabila, she grow up, you know? That kind of parent creates an anxious child, right? Those kids who cry for attention, they want that attention you gave them, you know, a minute back. Now they don't get it, so they start to crave for it. So in adulthood, that person becomes anxiously attached. I'm one of those people. Yeah, so I require assurance. I require...
You're trying to see people's moods of...
what
are they happy? Are they just...
Yes.
Then you go back to the messages. Could I have said something?
Thank you. We become needy. We become a bit clingy because it was modeled.
Start to hear their voices like, how are they reacting to me?
Yeah, why did he speak like that?
Yes.
Exactly. So that creates an anxiously attached person. And the difference is, there are 4 attachment styles. They're secure. I mean, that is where we all hope to get. Securely attached child was seen, was heard, was understood, was nurtured, was... Mashallah, okay, yeah. Those are not so many, but yeah. So a securely attached child, the parents were there. And it doesn't mean that they were there 24/7. No, but when the child cried, they were soothed. Yes. When the child was fussy, they didn't go like, you're gonna look at me. No, they figured, is it the diaper? Is it the food? Are they hungry? Are they, you know, that's a secure.
Will be that person. You know how Edna is always...
So yes, so in adulthood, these are the adults who are not worried about space. They're independent, they can love, they can receive love, they trust. So wedding after who are always mistrustful. Oh my God, where is he? He's not replying. Let me call him. Yeah, they're not like that. So the securely attached person, that's how they were formed. The anxiously attached, I've talked about the inconsistent, you know, giving. And then we have the disorganized. But before I talk about disorganized, I'll talk about the avoidantly attached person. So avoidantly attached person, emotions overwhelm them, you know, because they were discouraged from crying. They were little adults. You know how you've talked about children being third parents? Those are the people who grew up and they become avoidant.
Just say prim. Just say
okay, well, avoidant, we have an avoidant right here.
Then, people will come and ask me what are your characteristics, and I'll tell them, and then we'll
exactly. Yeah, so these are the children who grew up a little bit quickly, you know. Yeah, parents were like, she can handle it. How can a 4-year-old be? I want to get independent. That should worry you.
You're telling them to go and change their siblings' diaper.
Exactly. You're 4 years old and I'm telling you, go and change your sister's diaper. You're 4 and she's 1.
Go and see what she has gone to do.
Thank you. So these are the adults who are discouraged from crying. These are the adults who emotions overwhelm you. Like you want it, but you also fear it. Yeah, like it's too much for you.
My
so
friends will attest to the fact that I'm always asking them, why give me presents?
Oh my
then
goodness.
Then when they're saying, oh, I love you, and I'm just like...
Now what? Exactly.
Can you relax?
Right? And it doesn't mean that they don't want a relationship. They do want those relationships. They just don't know how to handle them. So that's an avoidantly attached person. So now when you talk about a disorganized, now that's a mixture of both anxious and avoidant. That's the worst of attachment styles. I'll share with you a link to see which ones you relate with the most. Now the disorganized witnessed some abuse. Could be emotional, could be physical, could be sexual, and a lot of fear. So the person they were supposed to get the comfort from, that's the caregiver, was the person they were fleeing from because of fear. So imagine you're dating a person like this. You want them to love you. You want them to be there for you. You want them to hear you. How could they possibly do that? They don't know how that feels like. Yeah, it wasn't modeled for them. So you keep thinking, oh no, I don't understand him. But I swear to God, his emotional wires or his well-being is on zero. Like he doesn't even know how to receive it.
He doesn't even love himself.
Exactly.
Really.
How could he? Yeah, so that's a little bit of attachment. And the reason why I brought it up was because you talked about fear of rejection and abandonment. Anxiously attached people fear abandonment. You know, because we want to be loved and, you know, that inconsistent giving. Every time you take 2 hours without replying, I am already going crazy. Like, oh my goodness, what have I done?
They ended the relationship.
Yeah,
yes.
I think he's even in another world. He's in another country getting married. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so... Sometimes when you have a deep-rooted fear of abandonment and rejection, you need to ask yourself, where is this coming from? So it's like serious work. you have to do a lot of work, right?
Yeah, we did tell you guys it might get super deep.
But one day we've decided we're going to just keep bringing these things. But anyway, it's so interesting for people to actually also see us in that light of here we are also dealing with this.
Right.
We are learning on the journey with you.
Things, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm disorganized. I don't
Same.
know.
Same.
But I'm also avoidant, but I don't know.
I was anxious.
I am anxious. I know mine.
Go to therapy, guys. Let's all go to therapy because we're walking outside here in the streets and we don't know what's up. But again, you guys will let us know what else you'd like us to talk about in this series of, that we're too old for, But we'll see you next time. As always, a big shout out to Walker Studios who have hosted us in this wonderful space, and we'll leave their link as well. Until then, subscribe. Bye.
Bye.